Hey everybody, Bobby Medina here, bringing you guys a really exciting and new interview here. And I'm here with my good friend, Paul Barron, and he's gonna introduce our guest.
Hi, everybody. Today we've got Kenny Robinson from Robinson's Remedies, a good friend of mine. We've probably known each other for about, 14, 16 years, Kenny, something like that. We first played Spam-A-Lot together in the early 2000s and have remained friends ever since. And he brought me on board as an endorser as well. And I got to say, his product, and we'll talk about that, has I don't know if it's saved my career directly, but it sure has elongated it. And I swear I'm going to have another 5 years career just because of your product. So first question I have, I actually know the answer to this, but everybody's going to want to hear your story. How did you come up with your first product, lip repair?
Well, I'm a lifelong cold sore sufferer. And cold sores and brass playing do not mix.
No.
Believe me, because you'll get a cold sore. I used to get them the size of a dime on my lip, and I remember a doctor said when I was a kid, well, you're gonna have to quit playing trumpet. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna quit playing trumpet, And so I just learned to play on cold sores. I gave up one day, I used to take all kinds of things, vitamin C. Okay. This doctor said, but I'll tell you some things is, there are some things that help, like lysine and stuff like that. And they do work, but it's different for different people. Some people have to take more, some people can take less. So what I did was, I was on tour with Maynard, and I was in the very action of playing trumpet will give you a cold sore. So let me give you a little bit of physiology about what cold sores are. And they are the HSV1 virus, the herpes virus, okay? And a lot of people have them, and the herpes virus can be canker sores, the same thing. People go, oh, it's just a canker sore, it's a fever blister. Those kind of people are in denial, because I know about denial, because I used to be in denial about it. Oh, it's just a fever blister, it's just an adolescent zit or something like that when I was a kid, So I was on, the very action of playing trumpet will bring them on. That's why if you go to the dentist, you know how a dentist will sometimes say, do you get cold sores? And they'll put you on like an antiviral, like Zavirax or Valtrex nowadays, so that when they go in your mouth and contort and give you fillings or numb your mouth or whatever, you don't get a cold sore, right? So what happens is the herpes virus will lay dormant in your spine, okay? And whenever it wants to flare up, when your body becomes viral, that means it becomes susceptible to the virus coming out of dormancy and you getting a cold sore on your lips. Okay. So that's how it happens. And so when you play trumpet, you're just it's intense. It's an athletic event. So I was on Maynard's band. I'll give you an example. I was on Maynard's band, and it's a very intense band. It's not just high notes. It's just all over the place. It's a very dynamic band. And I got a cold sore one time, and it was a bad one. And we had just gone on a couple days off, so I was glad about it. And I was getting nervous about it because I had a cold sore, And so Reggie Watkins is a trombone player, great trombone player, one of our endorsers, and a very good friend, looked at my chops and he goes, I'm going to take you into Boss's room. And I go into Boss's room, and he goes, Boss looks at my face and he goes, oh my God. Well, if you can't play.
So anybody that doesn't know the nickname Boss,
Boss.
Maynard Ferguson.
We call him Boss. That's right. So I go into Boss's room, and he looks at me and he goes, looks at my lips like this. He comes up close and he looks at my lips and he goes, "Oh my God. Well, if you can't play, you stand up there and smile with us." And that took the pressure off, because he was a great band leader. He knew how to make people want to do it. He wasn't one of those guys that's going to go, "Well, you're fired." He made me. So I played my heart out, and I played the solo at the end, a piccolo trumpet solo that was written for me in Pagliacci and everything. And then we're walking out to the bus, and Maynard says to me, he says, "I noticed you played. So how did you do it?" And I said, I kept switching around. I kept finding a fresh place on my lips to play. And he goes, "Well, I don't know how you do that, but you sound great." So Maynard was always positive. And the thing is, Maynard would have chop problems too. I remember Ed took me into Maynard's boss's room, dressing room one night, and he peels back his lips, and boss let him do this. He took his lips and it looked like hamburger, and Maynard goes, "Oh, it'll be great." So what does that teach you? That teaches you that it taught me that don't let anything stop you and don't worry about it. So I kind of thank the boss, Maynard Ferguson, for helping me invent this product, because after I got off tour, I got probably one of the worst bouts of cold sores I've ever had. Okay. And this was in 2007 or 2008 or something. And I was actually going to quit. I was going to quit playing trumpet, So I said, I don't have anything to prove. I've been out with Maynard Ferguson, a couple tours, and done all kinds of things, classical, and played Broadway shows with Paul and all kinds of players, So I said, I can just be a repairman, which I've been my whole life. I've been an instrument repairman. And then about 3 weeks later, after not playing, I was like miserable. I'm going, what am I going to do? So I started combing the internet, and I found out, I learned even a lot more about cold sores than I thought I already knew, like different kinds of antivirals that you can take, or different ways to put antivirals on your lips. And I used to mix this like a little jar, something like this, with a cap on it. And I mixed coconut oil and lysine and tea tree oil and BHT and all kinds of things. And it tastes really shitty. It tastes like shit, but I used to carry it around in my case, and I'd rub it on my lips, and by God, it worked great. But so Betty, who's our Betty, I'm going to talk about Richard and Betty. Sure. Betty Evans is our art director. And then Richard Makamal is the CEO of the company. And I met Richard by him coming over to get his horn repaired, and then he took a lesson with me, and we just became really good friends. And Betty's been a lifelong friend. And Betty, so I gave some to Betty, and she put it on her lips, and she said, "This is terrible. This is terrible." So we said, but some of my friends were telling me, "You should market this. You should market this." And I said, "I don't know. I really wasn't going to market it. I was just going to keep it myself." I said, "So somebody find me like a chemist or a formulator or something, and maybe I'll think about it." And they did. They found somebody in North Carolina named Amanda Vickers, who's just terrific. And she said, I can make this better. But I said, "I want you to do it to my formula, because I'm the one that's got the problem, and I've used my lips as a lip laboratory, Sure. So Amanda goes, "Yeah, I can make it better." And I didn't believe her, and she goes, and so she sent me some samples, and I said, "Oh my God, this is way better. And it works better and everything else." So I said, cold sores solved.
And it tasted better, I bet, too, right?
Oh, way better. Vanilla mint, and this is what we came up with, lip repair. And I started using it, and then I gave it to another friend of mine that gets cold sores, one of the best trumpet players in the world right now. Maynard used to call him best trumpet player in the world, Walter White, and Paul knows Walter real well. Yep. And Walter was getting a cold sore. He came in town to visit because he was living in Ithaca. And I said, "Try this." And he goes, "Okay." And he put it on, and he said the next day it was like, "Oh my God, it's gone," And so So we went to the Trumpet Guild, to make a long story short. You know, we went to the Trumpet Guild in 2015, I think. And I got a little table there, we're just selling lip repair. And all my friends are coming around and buying it, you know, and they're going, well, I go, but you don't get cold sores, you know? And they're going, yeah, but it keeps our swelling down, you know? And they go, why don't you invent something for us? Everybody was telling. I heard that for like 1,000 times at the Trumpet Guild. So I said, you know, that's a good idea. And Richard kept saying to me, why don't you invent something for the people that don't get cold sores, like for endurance?
Like me, yeah.
I said, what's the biggest thing in trumpet playing, especially, and you know, in brass playing and wind playing as general, it's endurance, right? But especially trumpet players, because like Bud Herseth used to say to me, he says, trumpet is the hardest physical instrument there is. It is. There's over 200 muscles in your face just to make a note, you know, and then your wind power, you know, so endurance is a thing. And Bud used to carry 5 mouthpieces around on stage, you know, on his belt, to just get different colors when he'd play a Mahler symphony or something. And then he'd have one real shallow one to get through the end if he had to, you know. And I wish he was alive today. He'd probably like this. And I wish Maynard was alive today. So what we did is we came up with Lip Renew. And what I did is we studied endurance athletes, okay? And the endurance athletes, a big thing is lactic acid in the muscles, right? So people always goes, yeah, it takes your swelling down, but that's not really the big issue. The big issue is lactic acid and oxygen. The blood, you know, the oxygen is the breath of life. We need oxygen to live, right? So what we got is 3 main ingredients. We have ingredients that keep the swelling down, okay? That's number 1, but that's not the most important thing. The second ingredients are magnesium, and it's designed to keep the lactic acid out of the muscles. That's why I say when you put it on, you put a little bit of Lip Renew on, and I'll put it on all around your chops because it soaks into these muscles. And another good thing is we don't want it to be a wax product, because wax doesn't work. You know, wax, you can have all the greatest ingredients in the world in wax, but it's just going to sit there. It doesn't absorb, and it doesn't let stuff in to your lips or out of your lips. So that's why people always go, oh, well, I like this waxy stuff because I can go out in Chicago in, you know, 20 below and my lips won't dry out. Okay, that's cool. But if you're sitting indoors and you're going to play trumpet, if you put a wax product on, you got to wipe it off. Right?
And then even when you wipe it off, it's still there. My
still
wife
there.
is like a chapstick fanatic, and I can't even kiss her before a gig when I leave. I said, if you got that stuff, I don't know how you can stand it, you know?
Right. So chapstick, that's why it's so cheap, is because it's wax. It's petrolatum. I have a whole little tub of petrolatum when we were inventing Lip Renew, just to show. We used to carry it around to conferences, and beeswax, even beeswax. You know, I used to carry this jar of beeswax to the conferences at our table, and I go, well, I'm a Burt's Bees user. You know, nothing against Burt's Bees, but they put their finger on that and they go, well, what is that? That's waxy. And I said, well, that's beeswax. It's organic beeswax.
Mm-hmm.
And it still doesn't let stuff in or out. So I'm a no wax kind of guy, you know, no wax. That's why it soaks in. That's why you feel a tingle when you put it on. You'll feel like a tingle, like almost a minty tingle. There's a little trace of mint in it, but not very much, because it helps with absorption. And you can actually feel 5 minutes. Ask Paul, right?
Yeah. Well, the great thing is, and I use it throughout the gig. If I've got a heavy blowing gig, and I've got literally 2 minutes of a book scene or you know, something that the trumpets aren't playing, I can put it on. It'll get in there and start working, and I can actually I should share this little story. When I first got hooked up with Lip Renew, is that right? Lip Renew is the stuff I like.
Lip Renew.
Yeah, Lip Renew.
Because lip repair is for, hang on. I'm sorry, Paul.
Yeah, no, let's make sure everybody knows what.
Lip repair is for cold sores.
Right.
It's also just a great lip cream. It's an antiviral cream, and that I don't use why I'm playing this when I'm playing. Some people that play with wet lips probably could.
Yeah.
But I don't. I play with the wet lips, and I don't even use this when I'm playing. Okay.
Right.
Just for cold sores or antiviral or just for nice, nice soft lips. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Lip Renew is for when you play or before and after.
Yeah.
That's what it's for, not for anything else.
Okay.
Okay.
So right. Lip Renew. So I happened to be in Denver with a show. I can't even remember what show. And Kenny was in town.
Kinky
Boots.
Yeah.
Excellent memory. And Kenny and Richard were in town at a conference, the National Trumpet Competition, and all set up in this one really loud room. All the trumpet vendors and the mutes and everybody was in this. It's an old church gymnasium. And then I round the corner past the Bach booth and getting double C's blown in my face. And I round the corner and there's Kenny sitting there. And we hadn't seen each other for years at this point. And he's got this product and he goes, "Here, check this out." And he has me hold out my finger and he puts a little bit on and he goes, "Put it on your chops." And I go like that. And he goes, no, put it everywhere, like you just showed us. And I went, "Oh, it's tingling. I hope this is not like some other products where it tingles so much and it just kind of breaks down any sort of calloused skin or anything. It feels terrible." But this wasn't that at all. And I was a little nervous at first, because of the tingling, but that subsided very quickly. Like you said, it's just a hint of it. And actually, I've grown to really enjoy it because then to me, it kind of tells me, oh yeah, it's really working. It's sinking in and it's doing its job.
It's a cooling effect.
It is, yeah. And I got to the show that night and it's not a terrible blow, but there are a few moments of some real heat at the end of both first and second act. And so I decided, I'm just going to put this stuff through the paces, see what it does. And if it actually does what it claims, because so many things claim and they sort of fall short.
And you were skeptical, I remember.
Yeah. And, I'm more science-based than faith-based, so I'm going, okay, well, prove it to me, to this stuff. And I put it on and I get to the end of the first act and I still felt fresh. And wow, okay, I guess this works pretty well. I put some on over intermission, felt even better. And then throughout the whole second act, anytime I'd have a couple 3-minute break, put some on. I didn't have to wipe anything off. I could just play again. I got to the end of the night and this was on like a 5-show weekend, which is normally fairly grueling. I felt better at the end of Sunday night than I did at the beginning of Friday night, having used this product throughout the 5 shows through that weekend. So I, of course, was immediately, a convert. And I've been calling it endurance in a tube ever since, because I swear, like I said, it's given me at least an extra half an hour of endurance on any given day, plus another maybe 5 years to my career. So what you guys have done is really great. And anybody that's skeptical, I'm one of the biggest skeptics out there, but it really works great. I'd also like to ask you, Kenny, and I know we've talked about this, certain foods and things that also can exacerbate or bring out the cold sore. And you've done a lot of research in that. Mm-hmm. You share that with us.
Yep. I'd be glad to. You can always go do a Google search for, of foods that are rich in lysine. Okay. This is a really big thing. Now we're talking about cold sores. We're not talking about lip renew anymore. We're going to go back to cold sores. So everybody knows that. So what you can do is you always want to keep your body from becoming viral, what they say. Okay. So, and I know I've known lots of brass players that suffer from cold sores now. You know, one of the best trombone players in the world, Michael Deese, is a big cold sore sufferer, and he uses lip repair all the time. Eric Mirashiro, you know, Eric Mirashiro suffers from cold sores. I never knew that. He's been using lip repair, and he says it's been a godsend to him. So anyways, but there's other things you can do just besides lip repair. You want to keep your body from becoming viral, like I said. And there's a lot of ways that your body becomes viral. Your body becomes viral when you are after a thunderstorm, for example.
Really? Why is that?
And that is because there are more positive ions generated in the air after a thunderstorm than negative ions. In fact, a lot of air purifiers nowadays, like maybe a Honeywell tower that twists around, sometimes they have a negative ion generator built in. And this is fact. This is all facts. This is not just speculation. This is all fact stuff.
No fake news.
No fake news. No fake news here. I'm just going to tell you what I know, but I'm learning stuff about it all the time. And then I remember in a flight magazine, Patrick Hessian, who was on Maynard's band with me, got this negative ion generator that you hung from your neck, and it was a little battery powered thing, and it was like a little air purifier, and I tried it on one time, and I could go, oh wow, it smells like fresh air, you know, but it's generating negative ions. So what you want to do is after a thunderstorm, that's why I always go, why am I get that itch, a tingle after a thunderstorm, you know? Or like if I get rained on and I'm out doing an outdoor concert and it's humid, I start getting a cold sore, you know? It's because of because of the lack of negative ions. So you go into an air conditioned room and there's more negative ions, for example, you know? So that's one way, but that's just a little thing, okay? Now, there are foods you can eat that you want to keep. See, there's a certain amino acids. There's a whole group of them, right? And L-lysine, it's called L-lysine. That's an amino acid that the human body does not synthesize. Okay, that means the human body doesn't make it.
Sure.
Okay, so you have to get it from your food. And then there's another one called L-arginine. Okay, and that's a good one for energy and for muscle building and everything. But when there's more arginine in your body, the level is higher for arginine up here, your body will become viral. If there's more, you need both amino acids, but if there's more arginine in your body than lysine, this is a big one. Your body will become viral and susceptible to cold sores. Not saying that you're going to get one, because everybody's different. And people that get cold sores usually know their triggers because they've got it their whole life, you know?
Sure.
And they go, oh, I think I get it from too much sun. Well, that's yes and no. You know, if you get a sunburn really bad and you let your lips dry out and you go and you get drunk in the sunlight and fall asleep in the sunlight, yes, it's going to drain the lysine out of your body and your arginine's going to be higher. Yes. But what you want to do is you want to eat foods that are rich in lysine. So usually that's healthy foods like green leafy foods and lean meats and salmon. And a one that's really big that has a big effect on me is orange juice, citric acid, because citrus, especially orange juice, processed citric acid, is very high in arginine. It's almost pure arginine. So if you had I could probably have orange juice. I'm not going to take a chance, but if I just, took like, 20,000 milligrams of lysine with it, I'd probably be fine. But I'm not going to take that chance. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But green leafy foods and figs are really high in lysine. Cottage cheese is a really good one. It has really good enzymes and it's high in lysine. Some dairy products, some yogurt products.
So what are the things that you have to avoid? Because I know we've been out for dinner and you're questioning, is there any of this in there?
Citrus. Like if they sometimes, you'll go to a Greek restaurant or wherever and they do the saginaka opa and then they put it out with lemon, and I just go, I can't have that, Well, here, why don't you rub this lemon on your lip,
And what about like tomato-based stuff?
Tomatoes are different. That's ascorbic acid. Vitamin C
okay.
is fine. Ascorbic acid is fine. Vitamin C is fine.
I've been really lucky because I have never been susceptible to cold sores.
Yeah, me neither.
However, I have had bouts of acid reflux throughout my adult.
Oh yeah, that's down farther, right?
Yeah. So, but that's basically the holistic cure for it because I didn't want to be on Xanax or whatever it was, the Nexium and all these different things. I don't like having to take pills,
So what's the cure? What's the natural?
What worked for me is you have to break that cycle. And then once you break this cycle, you can start to enjoy the foods that you cut out. But the main foods you cut out are acids, all citrus, tomatoes, tomato-based foods, no alcohol, no coffee, all this stuff. And it wasn't until I went to a holistic, a naturopath, did some tests on me, and she said, yeah, you're not going to like this for a month, but I promise it's going to work. And it really worked within a week. I was basically living on white rice and water for the most part in leafy greens. But boy, I felt great after doing that, and it broke the cycle. And she had told me, I'm Italian. I love spaghetti. I love my red wine. I love this and that. But when this, and I have it too. So she said, when you feel it start to come on, just kind of cool it on all that stuff. Go back to a more pH.
It's bland. It's pretty
bland diet. And so basically for me, I keep that part of me in check, but I love citrus. I mean, Mexicans eat lemon and lime on all your meats and everything. So
and I can have some, but I just got to be careful.
Yeah. I get it. We're all different. We all have a little bit of a different makeup,
But another really good one is chicken soup. If you really want to, because I remember a holistic doctor told me, why don't you just try chicken soup too? Add that to your thing. And it's because it boosts your immune system. Okay?
So there's actually something to that.
Oh yeah. So if you're
that's the Jewish
grandmother
for the cold, the Jewish grandmother's cold cure. Yeah, I've heard
that's
that
right.
from a lot of my friends.
Jewish penicillin. That's what they say.
Yeah.
And the thing is about chicken soup is, and they call it a cold sore for a reason, because your body becomes you feel yourself getting sick or something. When you got a cold coming on. Man, I don't want to do it. I for surely want to stay healthy right now because of the COVID-19 that's going around. But because I don't know do I have COVID-19? You never know.
Right. The second anybody sneezes or coughs, you're
oh my God. Right. So, but chicken, I urge cold sore sufferers to always take, drink a little bit of broth. Every day. I mean, every day. Like I go to Trader Joe's. If you got a Trader Joe near your house, you can get this for $2. You can get a quart of organic chicken broth, and it's not the kind of stuff that tastes like bone broth, where it's just like I can't stand that stuff. I like the actual organic chicken broth, and I pour myself a cup of it, heat it up in the microwave. you know, in the morning or before I go to bed or something like that. Then I've had my chicken soup, if you can't get any, you know, chicken broth. And you want to keep your pH. I remember, Bobby, you were just saying something about pH.
Right.
Another good thing to do is to keep your pH. You want your body alkaline and less acidic.
Exactly.
You know, and you can go to Costco, and I found they got pH water, alkaline water, and that's 18 of them for giant bottles for $10, you know, and you can have a glass of a bottle every day, and you're keeping your alkaline up. You want to keep out of the acid zone. Another way to do that is you can go to the health food store and get plum balls. You ever heard of that?
No.
They're like little sour, I think ultra freeze dried plum or something, and you suck on them like candy, and it brings your pH up.
And you get those where at a health food store?
A good specialty health food store will have them.
Okay.
You
Plum
just
balls.
tell them you want to get something that keeps your pH up, and they'll recommend that, and it works good. It works really good.
Wow, that's really interesting. Well, I just want to tell everybody here that's with us in our group. I mean, at this point we're up around 1,600 people, but
Great.
I've been introduced to this stuff a couple of years ago through Paul. I'm not an endorser, or I don't have an endorsement with a company. I just believe in the product. And the first one that I started with was the lip repair, which Paul told me about.
No, lip renew.
Lip renew.
Right.
So that, you know, when I was getting beat up on gigs and stuff, I generally don't use it during the gig. I have a couple of times, and I don't have any problems with the waxy or all that, but I use it after, which seems to make me feel like I recover better. And then with the lip repair, I'm not a cold sore sufferer, but if I feel my lips getting chapped or getting dried out, I use that, and it seems to work really, really well.
Now you're going to have to use it more often than a wax product, because it's not a wax product. Now we do have a new thing that came out, and I can let Paul introduce it, or you can have me introduce it if you want.
You do it, Kenny. Yeah, I love that. I use it almost every night before I go to bed.
You know, because we've been getting these requests for something for after the gig, you know, and for some, because some people just use lip renew after the gig, because some people are afraid to, hey, whatever floats your boat.
Something without an olive in it, I'm assuming.
Right. So what we did, we invented called Lip Renew Recovery, and it's a stick. It's the first wax-free stick that's on the market. I don't have one sitting in front of me, but you could. It's readily available. You know,
I'll see if I can find it. You keep talking.
Okay. And what it is, it's a stick, but it's wax-free. And that's the key. And what you do is you use that when you're not playing. Some people use it while they're playing. Okay. I knew that was going to happen, you know, but some people use it, but most people, it's designed for extended release of the ingredients that are in Lip Renew. So it's not designed to be used while you play. Although some people that I know, some very fine trumpet players that use chapstick all the time, they can't play without putting a chapstick on. So now they use Lip Renew Recovery, but that's for overnight and it also protects almost like a wax product.
Very cool. I'm gonna have to check that out then myself.
Yep, but that's to be used before and, you know, way before and mostly after for extended release, because the next morning you're just like, wow, I feel like I don't feel like beat up. You know, because the older we get, this group is what, trumpeters over 50?
Exactly.
Right. I'm over 50 now. Hell, hallelujah. You know, so I'm just like, hey, look, you know, it becomes harder physically as we age. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely harder physically, but we're smarter. You know, I've noticed that we're smarter.
Speak for yourself.
Okay. Well, maybe not, I'm also taking Prevagen for my memory. Okay? No, but corpuscles, you get all the air moving and the corpuscles take longer to wake up. That's what Bud Herseth says. It's a fact of life. The older you get, the harder it gets, so that's why I think Lip Renew, like Ava Ordman, she's a dear friend of mine. She's a low brass instructor at Michigan State University, and she's an endorser, and she's retired. She's going to be retiring age, and she was going to retire from playing until she started using our product. And she goes, it's just giving me extended life. She made a new CD. And she was going to retire because she said, I can't play anymore. But then after she'd been using lip repair for a few months, she's now playing again.
Well, it's like I said,
lip renew. Lip renew. I call it lip repair too.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I swear it's going to give me another 5 years on my career.
I think more than that.
Well, here's hoping.
The way you play.
Absolutely.
I'm going to play. See, like Maynard used to tell me, it's my favorite toy. So I think I'm just gonna play it until I drop dead. So, maybe that'll be when I'm over 80, hopefully.
We have people in this group that are well into their 90s and they're still playing because they enjoy it and love it so much.
Well,
it's inspiring.
We just got an email and Betty, I forwarded it to Betty and Richard. And it was from a guy that's in Canada that's 84, 85 years old. And he said, I've been using your products and now I'm playing better than I have 10 years ago. And the guy, bless his heart, it was just a sweet thing. I was just so happy to hear that.
That's fantastic.
Well,
hey,
that's
Kenny,
awesome.
I guess we're probably getting close to the end. We're time-wise, but I'd like to know how the business is going through all this COVID, because you guys, obviously you can't go to trade shows and, ITG and all that.
That was our thing. Richard is the CEO, but he also put a lot of money into this, to be honest, and because it takes money. It takes money. And we haven't paid, the company was going to start paying Richard back this year. We were going to break even. We had it all set. Richard wrote the business plan. He's the businessman he's the business mind of the company. And I wish he was available to be on here with me, but maybe some other time.
Sure.
Anyways, but our business, and just like everybody, it fell off about 90%.
Wow.
It hit us hard. And it hit it because there's nobody that's really playing any gigs. I don't have any gigs. I play at a church every once in a while. But I am in my recording studio. I'm sitting here in my recording studio, and I'm recording a new record. I'm doing it one person at a time, one player at a time, and I'm doing the Brandenburg number 2.
Very cool.
Wow.
And I got in fact, as soon as I get off, I'm going to start recording or sequencing more parts on my little keyboard here. And then putting a click track in, and then I'm going to have the violin come over one at a time, practice our social distancing and put on the orchestra parts and then the solo part, and then the oboists come over and put on the solo part and that kind of thing. But remember, do remember this. We go to conferences. I can't wait till we go to another conference, because I'm sure that when this is all over and people are actually playing gigs again without having to oh my God, I don't want to be around anybody, and we can actually go to a conference that's not virtual, I'm sure that business will pick up again when people are playing. But Terry Warburton told me the same, 80, 90%. Trent Austin told me he's down. What we got to do is we just got to wait this out. That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
And be smart about how we, control the social distancing and all that. Once
That's right.
Everybody actually believes that it is a problem, then we'll get to the good side of this.
I hope so.
Well, and in the meantime,
don't even get me started on that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, people are still getting cold sores and people are still
Right.
practicing. And we were just
Right.
talking with Wayne
That's why
Bergeron and Tony
we're
Kadlick
trying to run. We're trying to
about
run
this.
sales all the time. You
Yeah.
know, we're running sales all the time until this is over.
Well, and
Well,
speaking of which, tell us about your sale right now. It started what, yesterday?
I think it started yesterday, and it's a back to school sale. And what we did is we just reached out to some of our endorsers that are educators for a new quote or something. But some of my endorsers, like I got an endorser down in Texas named a brilliant trombone player, just the sweetest guy, Alton Sinclair. And he's down in Texas. And he said they're back to school, but very, very little, you know, a lot of it's virtual. But he said his students need it more now than they used to need it, because he said they haven't been practicing at all, you know. And
you know, I could see that for professionals too. Like Bobby was just saying, we had Tony Kadlick and Wayne Bergeron, and Wayne's talking about an upcoming gig he's got with the Little Fat Band, Gordon Goodwin's thing, and he's not sure about his endurance. So I could see for myself as well.
Well, he uses it. He uses it all the time.
And I haven't, you know, I told this on the last interview, but I haven't played open horn much to speak of, maybe 3 or 4 minutes since March 11th. And I can see where I'm going to be having to bathe in that, in lip renew once I get back.
Stick your head in it.
Exactly. Just slather it on.
Right. Well, and remember this, like I was saying, when we go to a conference, finally, there are always going to be these people that come up to the table and always go, what's the difference in these two products? And we can't say enough. You know, we have one poster on one side and a poster on the other side that explains the difference, and they still ask me. Yeah. So this is Lip Renew is for endurance for wind players. And then Lip Repair is for cold sore sufferers. Okay.
And so what's the website? Let's have you say the website right
is
here.
robinsonsremedies.com, all one word.
We'll make sure we post that underneath as well.
Yeah,
I think this would be a great.
We're running 25% off. That's pretty good.
That's great.
I think it's a great opportunity. If you haven't tried this, you really owe it to yourself. It's not very expensive. Check it out, man, because it really, really works. I never pitch anything or throw anything out in front of friends unless I really believe in it. And like I said, I've been using it for a couple of years, and it's been amazing. I did in January, the very end of January, before all our gigs dried up, I did a week-long show with an Elvis tribute show out of Texas. A really great guy, really great band. The whole band comes out, and me and a sax player come in, and we always work with them when they're up in the Northwest. But it was a long rehearsal, like a 3-hour rehearsal, and then we had a dinner break, and then we had a 2-hour show, and it was 6 nights in a row. But unfortunately, it's a great show. The writing for trumpet is not always the most well thought out, because there are a lot of long footballs on your page that are up around high B and high C and D. And it's just like the most tiring, pounding kind of playing you could do. And then there's a couple of high things and there's a couple of sensitive things. So I was using this during that, and I remember that specifically every day, just to be able to, you know, because you start to feel that at the end of a week. You know?
At the end of 8 bars, I start to feel that, you know, when there's footballs, you know.
Well, anyways. I believe in this, you know, and I know Paul does, and I got to say thanks to Paul for even introducing me to this in the first place. And I've turned on a bunch of players. The last time I went, I did a big concert in Sweden, and we have some of the guys here, I think, in our group. I even was showing them. I think I had a few samples to pass out, and I did that over there just to kind of share that with them. But for everybody else, I hope you'll consider using this and buy a little bit and try it and support Kenny and his group. It's a very worthwhile endeavor, and I think it'll make a great
Thank you very much.
help
Very sweet
to your
word.
career. And Kenny, thank you so much for being here and sharing your time.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime. Anytime. And
Always.
I miss you, Paul.
I miss you too.
Miss you guys.
I was supposed to be, yes, and to Heather as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
I will.
So we will catch up again in the future, and we'll get an update when all this COVID blows over. How's that sound, Kenny?
Sounds awesome.
And we'll get Richard on as well.
Oh, that sounds great. And by the way, I'm a big fan of your page. I wanted to tell you guys that.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We have a great time, and we have a great group and a big mixed group of both ladies and guys, and a fairly wide age group of middle-aged to older players. And we get just as much joy out of bringing it to everybody as we hope they get out of reading all the content and learning from it. So thanks again, and we will see you on the flip side, buddy.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, Kenny.
Bye-bye now.
Okay. Bye-bye.